My name's Clay Marks. I was born and raised here in West Palm Beach. And in the 70s growing up, I was in junior high and high school, and it was a blast. Growing up, we weren't very religious. We went to church, Episcopal church, but it meant nothing. Looking back, there was times I knew some people that were Jesus freaks, and I kind of felt sorry for them because, they didn't have fun in life, or anything like that. And of course, my idea of the Bible is like, who would want to waste their time reading the stupid Bible? The other thing is, I don't want to sit around in a Bible study with a bunch of pansies. That's what my thought of Christians were. So my senior year, a couple of my mother's friends, somehow they ran into a lady who was teaching a Bible study for high schoolers. They thought it would be a good thing for us to do, her and her sons and some other boys. And so we were asked to go. Well, we didn't want to go. It's the last thing I wanted to do, waste my time with that. So I went, and we were at this lady's house, and I thought I'd listen. And so she listened, and I'd heard this person talk about the Lord like I never heard before. The Lord started to work on me. The end of the time, I don't remember what was said, but I knew I wanted to be right with God, but not right now, because, I'm partying, and you can't do all that, kind of stuff and be a Christian. But she was pretty wise, and so she pulled me out to the back porch, and she was talking to me. And she said, would you like to pray to receive the Lord? And if I was honest, I'd have said, no, not now. But I said no, and I just repeated after what she said. So I said probably some sort of sinner's prayer. Went home that night, again, didn't think much about it. Next morning I woke up, and I was blown away. There was something different. I knew it, and I instantly knew that I knew the Lord. I was talking to him. It was almost weird, but I sensed this amazing love from him, and I was talking to him, and my eyes, I wasn't looking at the world the same way. Of course, I was still partying, and it continued in that. I wasn't looking at women the same way, and it was something. It was really amazing. Going back, my family, my parents were solid parents, took good care of us, but the one thing that they lacked, they didn't know how to love. And so as a child growing up, a young boy, when I needed them the most, emotionally or whatever, they weren't there for me. Married for 21 years, had 2 boys, and at the age of 46, my first wife died of cancer. During those times, though, I was working for my father, and my problem was the thing that the enemy used to take me down the greatest was we would do work occasionally, and you wouldn't get paid. And these people would just totally ignore you, and you did a good job. Now, the problem with that is the resentment and bitterness that I took towards these people. Didn't have someone to really work me through it, knew it wasn't right, but it was justifiable. These were the kind of things that, along with not understanding why God would allow these things, and the enemy really started to take a toll on that in my life, and the tormentors would come, and they would form into depression. So I started going in and out of depression a lot, and typically I'm a happy guy. So this was hard, and no one really knew how to deal with it. Wife dies of cancer. Move on. A year or so later, started to date. Got married again. That was not good. Within a week, something was terribly wrong. This, though, forced me into, the Lord led me to some people and to enter healing in a different type of ministry, and started to receive a lot of help. At this time, I did not know what wounded people was. I didn't know what it meant to be wounded, was totally clueless about these things. Grew up without any drama or any kind of thing. Started to learn a lot, and the Lord redeemed that time. 3.5 years later, I was divorced. He redeemed that time to where what I learned was invaluable. So at this time, I take some time off. 3 years later, a lady introduces me to my wife, Sherry, who we all know now. And we've been married 10 years, and the Lord has done some amazing things with the both of us, and I've learned a lot. But I still struggled with this. Whenever I had problems or issues with people, will God really, will he come through for me? And I couldn't believe that. And that was led back to my parents. It's like, could I really trust him to come through for me? And I knew the answer scripturally. This was the hardest thing for me in life, and I struggled with it a lot. So I got really low. Depression would always come. About a year ago, It got bad enough where it just scared me. I realized how much that I was letting the enemy talk to me, the negative thinking, the negative thoughts, and I was struggling, couldn't win the battle. And it got desperate. I got scared, and that was a good thing because the Lord brought me back to the Psalms, and I started reading the Psalms, and for the first time in my life, I started to see how the Word and the Spirit together started to heal me. And I started to believe that God loves me, truly knew it in my heart, and where I couldn't count on him before. And I know completely now that I can come to the place where I can honestly say I love the Lord with all my heart, and that true happiness is knowing him